It's equal parts the dream and a nightmare sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm Shalane, this is Dean, and we are
GrassRoots Living.
About to see the world in action, what we can be, like with no distraction.
Let's just tell me about you. So this is Amy, Caleb's in there.
We're both originally from Nashville, and then we moved. We were there for like 28, 27 years, and then we moved out to Denver, Colorado, and lived there for about 2.5 years before moving into the van.
And what spurred your thinking into van life?
Well, when we moved to Colorado, we were already kind of thinking tiny house. We just liked the idea of minimalism, of living small. And so we were like, maybe we'll move to Colorado and move into a tiny house, kind of all at the same time. And then the more we looked into it and thought on it, we were like, since we're moving somewhere totally new, we were like, let's just put the tiny home on hold for a second, just get used to moving to a new state and a new part of the country. So we moved to Denver and just rented a house. And then we kept looking into the tiny home stuff, and the regulations and everything around it were just a little gray, a little challenging.
Yeah.
We weren't going to be as mobile. We realized we wouldn't be able to be as mobile as we wanted to be. So then we kind of started rethinking. We're like, okay, if not tiny home, like what's something else we could do? And then we had a friend that we met in the photography world who was living out of a van. And so we met up with her in Moab. We kind of went home and we were like, what if we did that? Like,
Yeah.
really seeing it happen and like doing it, you're like, okay, this is actually possible. But it was just kind of in our minds, and we were looking, and we do photography and videography. We were starting to get weddings booked, in New Mexico and Arizona and Utah and Washington. So we were traveling a lot too, and not really at the house as much. So we were like, well, this would be perfect because we can just bring everything with us and travel to all these spots and kind of let our work kind of guide our travels. And so pieces just started to fall together.
And you said you've been in it since like last July.
Almost a
And
year.
The rig is completely cool
Thanks.
and completely perfect. Like I would walk into that and go, this is it, done,
I mean, that's,
done.
yeah, we wanted it built out. We did not want to build it out. I know a lot of people build their own stuff out, but that just doesn't really sound fun to either of us. So we got really lucky. We actually found this one on Instagram. And so then I just messaged him, and I was like, hey, your van looks really, really cool. Like, we're interested in it. And one thing led to another, and we bought it from him. And we did not see it in person before we bought it. We only saw video. Like, he had a video of it all and like pictures. And,
Right.
But kind of we saw it. We were like, that's so different. We loved the look of it. I loved the idea that he had built it out and lived in it himself for a while.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't built out by a company. Like, it was just really personal. So I liked that.
So you like it, but is there anything about it that you don't like, or any regrets or anything like that?
Really, I don't think so. I mean,
Yeah.
we're very adaptable people.
Yes.
So even if there are things like maybe we wish were different, it's not a big enough deal for us to be like, man, I really wish that was different. We're
Yeah.
just like, well, this is how it is. We'll make
Yeah,
that work.
you're just like, oh, this is a thing. Okay, how do we fix that?
Yeah.
How do we, like I get
There
that.
really isn't. It came with more things than we were expecting.
Well, I love it.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you. We really, really like it. I think the most challenging thing has just been if work needs to be done on the van. That's the hardest part.
Yeah, because then it's your house.
House and car.
It's your house and vehicle. Which is why we have chosen the truck and truck camper. But so many times we want to try van life. But yeah, if the truck needs work or if the camper needs work, you can separate your house and your vehicle to where here you can't. Or if you want to go somewhere, like even now, today, if you guys want to go somewhere, you
pack
have to take
everything
your
up.
whole house.
Which isn't too bad.
Yeah.
I mean, like, we've got it down. I mean, we can pack up and go in like less than 15 minutes.
Yeah, you
probably.
get to where you have like a
Yes.
process, and you each have kind of a job that you do just almost unspoken after a while.
It's not too challenging for us, I
Yeah.
think, to like get everything and go. But yeah, if and when it needs work done, there's just a lot of kind of puzzle pieces we have to fit in, because we also have our dogs. So it's like, if we're going to leave it somewhere, wherever we go, we have to make sure the dogs can be there too.
Yeah. So if you were going to give somebody advice on, like, they're thinking about doing van life, like advice on if they should or shouldn't, or the process, you know, the steps to take, like thoughts on that?
You know, we really just went into it. Like I said, we did
Just
stay
jumped
with
in.
a friend for 2 nights in her van. So we did like at least experience it for 2 nights. But I think you just kind of have to go all in. You kind of have to be like, you know what, I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna accept all the really, really high highs and also the low lows that come with it.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna be there fully for all of it. It's a mindset thing.
Sure. What about financially? Did you guys have to do anything financially to prepare for van life, or?
Well, I mean, since we bought it before COVID and then COVID hit, what we thought our financial support was going to be got rocked, like, you know, like a lot of people.
Yeah, for sure.
So we did think we have our finances set up, and then it ends up they got, you know, kind of pulled all of our weddings and elopements and things like that, canceled or postponed or whatever. We've just made it work. I really think at the end of the day, you make it work. We had to just kind of go with the flow.
Yeah.
And
Because you can't really overthink it.
no, you can't. That's been the biggest thing I think with being in the van is it's freeing and challenging. Sometimes we can't plan too far in advance because we don't know where we're going to be tomorrow. I mean, we could be anywhere tomorrow.
Yeah.
And there's something very freeing about that. And there's something that can be kind of freezing about it. Like, I could be anywhere. Where do I go? What should I do?
Yeah.
But we lean more on the freedom side.
Yeah. There is a little decision fatigue, I think, involved sometimes.
We do try to at least once a month not stay in the van. So whether that's getting an Airbnb, whether it's staying at a friend's house, or a hotel, just to keep that fatigue from really growing big. Because it does happen.
Sure.
You do kind of get tired of always having to make decisions. And sometimes it's like, you know what, I think I just want to stay in a spot in a house for 3 days.
Yeah.
So we've tried to, and sometimes we're good about that, sometimes we're not, but we've tried to once a month spend one night not in the van.
Yeah. That's fun.
Which has helped, I think, with the decision fatigue.
We're so funny because we'll drive down the road and we see people in these big, like, especially as we've been going through Colorado, and you see these gorgeous houses, right? And we're always like, oh, those poor people. There are no wheels on that thing.
Yeah, they can't move.
They are just stuck. That thing is bolted into the earth.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I love it. We love it.
It's been very, very cool, and I just feel every day I feel like it's shaping us and like constantly keeping us open and adaptable, which I think are just really good. I don't know, it's good.
Yeah. So do you have an end game, or are you just not an end game
We
at all?
really
Like, we're
don't.
going to do this for 4 years and then we're going to whatever?
We
or
really
you're
don't
just-
have an end game in mind. We kind of said, like, maybe, I've said, like, at 2 years, maybe we'll reassess. I feel like he has said more like 3 or 5 years. So we'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're not at the moment, we're not working towards anything after this.
Right. Just the old time will tell kind of thing. Whenever you feel something is right, then that's what you'll do.
If there's a feeling I feel to, like, move into something different that's also mobile, or if there's a feeling where I'm like, I think I might want to stay somewhere for a little bit, then I'll explore that, but we haven't had those feelings yet. His name is Santiago.
Oh, his name is Santiago. And
Santiago.
where did that come from?
The book The Alchemist.
Got you.
That's the main character in the book, The Alchemist.
So you have solar. What do you have for solar?
We have 2 100-watt panels up on the roof.
Right.
So total, we have 200 watts. We have like an inverter. It's kind of back in a corner back
Kind
there,
of tucked
but
back in there.
it's
and
two.
everything's-
The solar panels power 2 car batteries,
Okay.
and there's an inverter on the car batteries with 3 outlets.
Got you.
Yeah. So we bought it in January of 2020, and we were renting a house, and the lease on the house was up at the end of June. So we had 6 months, and we were like, we'll kind of we'll take it on some trips and like slowly move into it, so it's not just so cut and dry. We had a lot of trips planned for work, for weddings, but then of course the pandemic hit, and so all those trips were canceled. So we only ended up being able to take it out once before we moved into it.
Yeah, so you guys have been doing a lot of time in Colorado and Utah and
In
that kind of
Arizona.
thing. So you've done some mountains
Yes.
with this, and you said
Yes.
it's been handling really well. And
We've only gotten it stuck once, and it was in Moab. It was in sand, and we went to Moab, and we were just driving on this. I mean, it wasn't a road, and I just like tried to do a really sharp turn in the sand, and we just like sunk in the sand. It was not fun.
yeah, that's a bummer.
But I mean, I think we learned really quick like what its limits are. But ever since then, it's been awesome.
So what does your family think about you doing this?
Honestly, I think at first they were kind of like, I don't think they really knew what it was, what van life was, which is, I mean, they're in Nashville, and I didn't know what van life was in Nashville. But my dad has come out and visited us once. My mom has not come out yet. But I think the longer we do it, the more they're like seeing what the lifestyle is like, and they're kind of, they're really supportive parents, so they were supportive from the get-go. I'm sure there was a little bit of worry, and there probably still is worry.
I think parents worry about the safety.
Yes, well,
Of
yeah,
it?
that's definitely the biggest
So you're
part.
loving van life?
Yeah.
Yeah?
It's equal parts of the dream and a nightmare sometimes.
And like
It's
on
like
YouTube,
there's no in between. It's either like the best thing in the world or like everything's about to fall apart.
and on YouTube you see van lifers, and a lot of times you just see the dream.
Yeah.
You don't see the frustrating
Yeah.
real life part,
Yeah.
right?
We just had a few weeks ago where the van was in the shop for a week. Has she told
No,
you
I
about
didn't
that?
tell that.
yeah.
So we had
There's lots of van shop stories. I
Yeah,
didn't tell
we
that
had
one.
lots of it. This was one where we have actually had to travel to Atlanta for a weekend, and so we're trying to time it out right to where we could leave the van to get the work done and needed, and then we could go to Atlanta and come back and pick it up. But when we got back to pick it up, they hadn't even started on it, and we're like, we live in this thing, and so we called and they're like, well, we think it's going to be done Tuesday afternoon. So it's Monday. It's all right, we'll book a hotel for tonight. And then on Tuesday we left the hotel, called them, they're like, yeah, maybe this afternoon. We called them, so we're just wandering around the city of Denver, with holding our stuff that we had
And our dogs.
and our dogs. And then we call them the afternoon. They're like, well, we're thinking Wednesday afternoon now. I'm like, okay, so we'll gotta book another hotel tonight. And then same thing happened on Thursday. And so it's we kind of had a week where we're just wandering around the city homeless, waiting on the van.
Every afternoon, if we hadn't heard from 3 or 4, then we'd book another night at a
We
hotel.
literally, we started making the thing where it's okay, if we haven't heard from them by 3:30, we're gonna book another spot for tonight,
We
because
didn't
that's
wanna
pretty
book,
much as early as you
4
can check in.
nights, and then it's done on the first day.
Yeah, I don't
Right,
want to
for
spend the
sure.
money on that, but
Yeah.
so that's the bad
like that
parts.
Yeah.
But that doesn't happen too far.
How many miles does this baby have on it?
210 now,
210?
and we bought it with
Gas?
187 diesel.
Oh, it's diesel. So
Oh,
it's
nice.
just barely being broken.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
That's what we're hoping.
What's your favorite thing about this?
The space.
This space.
The bookshelf is awesome.
Oh yeah,
Which
she was saying
that
too.
was
She
that
loves-
was a perk we weren't looking for in a van, and
Yeah.
he was the guy we bought it from was very into books, and we actually thought we would have more books to fill out the bookcase when he said that, and we didn't even have enough books.
Well, we got rid of some because
We did get rid of
thought we had
some.
too many, but apparently we didn't.
And
We
then
keep about 500 books in our truck camper on
really
Kindle.
500 on a Kindle. Well, that's actually funny because the guy before us people will give him, because he's trying to live this minimalistic life, and he's like, you have 300 books here, and you can just get a Kindle. And he's like, yeah, but there's something about having a hard copy of the
It's
book.
true.
Yeah, you can mark
It's
things.
And it worked out because we had a great book collection, and it's we don't want to get rid of all these for a Kindle.
I feel like we were totally fine to get rid of everything else, like clothes, furniture. We were totally fine to get rid of all that, but our books, those were that was gonna be the hardest.
Yeah.
And then this projector screen is another favorite part.
Yeah, but I want to get I got it too close up. I couldn't really. Look how big that is.
Portable projector.
Yeah.
Oh, this breeze feels so good.
Babe, check this out. Just say it one more time to her.
Oh yeah. So there's a little pull-out table right here. You can set the projector up, and it just.
That's a little portable projector.
Oh, that's the
Well,
projector.
This is the projector, yeah. We can hook our phones up
Oh.
to it and watch stuff, or we have a Nintendo Switch. We'll play video games in here at night.
That's so tiny. See, we're old, right?
Yeah.
We're super old, and so a projector to us is way.
Oh, we got a huge thing. Well, I think we were even when he told us it had a projector screen, and we're like, what kind of projector do we get? And he sent us a link for that one, and we're like, oh wow, this exists.
That
Yeah,
is
we didn't know
so
that.
You didn't know
cool.
either. Okay.
No,
good.
we didn't know either. So
Okay,
that's
okay.
it's not just the the age thing. It's,
Yeah.
But it's nifty.
Cool. Well,
Those are my favorite parts.
so I love your rig. So when you go to sell it, call me.
Water tanks down there. And there's the solar pan, that's kind of the controls for the solar right there.
Got you.
vault toilet right
Yeah,
here.
Okay.
We don't poop in it. Only pee because we want to clean out the poop. But like literally every like bench you sit on lifts up for storage. There's like 4 compartments going along the sides of the
Okay,
bed
cool.
with extra storage. Honestly, there has too much storage. We don't even have.
And then
These things open up, yeah, all for various stuff.
is it? Oh, so
It's just a
it's a
cooler.
dual. And so
Yeah,
one
so
side's freezer, one
freezer?
side's.
No,
Okay.
it can be a freezer, but it's the whole thing. It has to
You
be a
gotta
freezer.
It's the same way with ice cold.
And of course,
60 liters.
spinach on top. And then this is the paddleboard actually. Right here. And then everything else under here is just like these extend all the length of the bed, so they just pull out huge, big.
Pretty easy to pull
No.
out.
Most of our camping
I mean, they're
stuff-
heavy. Yeah, we have like all of our camping stuff here. Honestly, we don't even get in these drawers that much. We have like extra hiking shoes and stuff down here. And then there's like tripods, camping chairs. Here's our shower
Okay, yeah.
right there. Board games that we never play.
I thought we'd play more board games.
Yeah.
You want me to put grassroots living or Dean and Shalane, or what do you want me to do?
Yeah,
Yeah,
both.
you bet.